love it. It's rewarding. I've always loved it, but I think at the point that I realized that it actually served people is when I started doing it for a living. I was maybe 28, 29 years old, and looking for my purpose in life. I'd always played music. I was in the Navy. I had a guitar behind my bunk. I got out of the Navy. I just worked little jobs, like Generation X calls them McJobs, right? I worked at the car wash, I worked at the co-op. It was all so I could have a job with as little responsibility as possible so I could play gigs whenever I wanted to. And then I just did some reevaluation and realized I just want to play music, and I want to play music that serves people. That's what I'm doing. Well, music for me is, it's a language. It's a language kind of like spiritual language where you, the facts of the story at some point become unimportant, but the message of the story, and going to a place, words and music taking you to a place where really words alone would not get you there. You'd have no understanding. At some point you have to understand things in a way that that words just can't do. And that sense of community, when people come together for a show, and there are people who are singing together. I love to get people singing along. That's a serious feeling of community. That's why they do it in church, And then the songs go out there, the CDs go off the table, and people who play music are like, man, I want to play that song song about the chicken wire, or the truck song, or whatever, and then they take that song back to their communities where they play it at the open mic night. Hey, I heard this great song, and so it just creates this sort of this network of people who love music and agree on things and want to have a good time or whatever. It creates a sense of community, and in this world where it's pretty easy to feel separated these days with your 3-bedroom, 2-bath with the front door is actually the garage, zoning, all those things. The music is a zone-free place. I'm pretty domestic these days. I might be thinking about my garden or my kid or what I need to do the next day. Like when I get home, I might have to take my son to school or pick him up from school or organize my day around my wife or around my, it's classic. I'll get home at 3 in the morning and all I really want to do is sleep in and take a day off, but at 7 in the morning, Mary's like, can you make breakfast? I got to go do this, and that's just what I got to do. Sometimes I write songs, sometimes I just organize my thoughts on various things. A good 5 or 6 hour drive is good for clearing all the nonsense out and getting down to what I need to think about. You need to find your community. One of the best things you can do is take your songs, if you're a new songwriter, take your songs to other songwriters and tell them to open their ears. Tell me what's wrong about this song or what's great about this song. Give me your feedback. Even getting up in front of people and playing a song for 20 people at an open mic is a completely different experience from playing that song alone in your bedroom. You'll realize right away, if you're a sensitive person at all, you're going to realize right away what's working and what's not working. At which point the people just start looking away or get up to go get a cup of coffee, or do you keep them there in their seats watching you and listening to you? But you need to get together with your community and get some real feedback and get outside of your own head to realize what you're really doing. I think there's only so many songs that are just going to come to you, and then you have to go to them. You've got probably a dozen songs when you first start writing songs. You get really excited and you have all these ideas, and you're going to run out of those pretty soon, and songs about your own life and your own personal experience. And then you just you have to look outside. You have to go to a bookstore and cruise the new titles and see if one of those titles has something interesting to say to you, or open up a dictionary and point to a word with your eyes closed, and you have to write a song that's prompted by that word, or anything that gets the wheels moving. If you're going to be a real songwriter, the whole Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours thing, you got to put your time in order to master your craft, and there's no other substitute. There's no inspiration that takes the place of those hours working on your craft.